might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine, she's here, you can take a break. I'm hot air balloon that could go to space with the air, like I don't care, baby, by the way.
Hi guys, so today I'm going to talk about a little experiment that I've been embarking upon for the past month. I was inspired by an article that I read in the Huffington Post about a woman named Sarah Smith who had decided to drink a gallon of water every day for a month. And in the article, they showed a before and after photo of her experiment, before she started drinking that much water and after the month was over. And she looks literally 10 years younger. Her skin had that dewy, glowy look to it. And that alone was enough to inspire me to embark upon my own project because, you know, vanity is always the best motivation. But the health benefits are also a nice bonus. So, first of all, let's cover exactly how much a gallon of water a day is because it sounds like a lot to swallow. And it is a lot of water, especially if you're not accustomed to drinking a lot of water throughout the day. It is going to be a little bit to get used to. But it really only breaks down into 8 16-ounce glasses of water a day. Normally, we've always heard in these like health classes and stuff that you're supposed to have 8 8-ounce glasses of water. Well, for me, I always thought that was such a silly measurement of how much water you should have, not because it's incorrect, but because most of the time we're not drinking out of 8-ounce glasses of water. Like, everything in America is so much larger that your glass, if you measure it, is probably about 16 ounces. The first thing I noticed right away is that I was so much more alert, particularly in the morning when drinking this amount of water. I would always try and do the first 1 to 2 glasses before I headed out for the day. And some days that was super easy because my schedule varies, so if I didn't have to head out until noon, then I could definitely get 2 glasses in. If I was heading out at 8 or 9 in the morning, then it was a bit much. But I did find on the days that I did get those first 2 glasses in, I felt ready to conquer the world. It was better than having a cup of coffee. So in addition to feeling super alert in the day, I actually slept really well at night as well, so that was a nice benefit. And I also noticed that I had less bloat. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that I have a huge problem with my weight. I'm a yoga instructor, I'm a vegan, I'm naturally thin. But I do, you know, just like any woman especially, get that occasional, like, week where I don't feel quite as svelte as I would like. And I no longer got that while drinking this much water. So the next thing I noticed was my skin became baby soft. Like, I'm not kidding, guys. Like, I couldn't stop touching my own skin. Also relating to skin, my skin got amazingly clear. Since going vegan, my skin is definitely way better than it has ever been. But I do have the occasional breakouts, and I, you know, probably like once or twice a month at least will have 1 or 2 pimples pop up. And I definitely have some acne scarring. Or at least I did before starting this experiment. I immediately noticed that my skin tone started to even out. Scarring was reduced. It just became this sort of like porcelain skin that I've always wanted that I didn't think was genetically possible for myself. And the final thing that was a nice little benefit, especially this time of year with the holidays and leading into the new year, was the total lack of hangovers. I'm not a huge drinker, but I was so well hydrated that I went to holiday parties and I went to New Year's celebrations, and never once did I have to worry about waking up the next morning feeling like crap. So, to help you to drink more water, whether it be a gallon of water or 8 8-ounce glasses, or what I used to recommend to my clients, which is half your body weight in ounces, I have a couple tips that I've developed for myself to make things a little bit easier to hit that goal. The first tip I've already mentioned is try and get your first 2 glasses in before you leave the house. The next tip, if you don't have that cup of water finished by the time you walk out the door, definitely throughout this project you need to invest in a reusable water bottle. Not only is this going to be easier on the planet, it's going to be easier on your wallet, because if you're trying to drink a gallon of water every day, you don't want to be running to the corner store to buy a plastic water bottle every time you run out. And while you're at it, get a bottle that you really love. Get something that speaks to you, that you find that it's like your own little new fashion accessory as you're drinking your water. For me, that bottle was this cute little glass bottle that I found at the Core Power Yoga shop. And it comes with this nice little rubber lining. I love that it's glass so that you don't have to worry about any BPA or anything that's in the plastic. There's a little plastic up here, but the bottle itself is all glass. You don't have to worry about leaching any chemicals into the water you're drinking, because that would defeat the whole purpose of cleansing your body by putting more chemicals into it. The other bottle that I've been using is actually a Christmas present that my cousin got me. And I do like this one. This is a BPA-free plastic, which I know is kind of controversial. I just saw recently some articles that were saying that even BPA-free plastic is not as good for you. So the jury's still out on plastic in general. But I do like this one because it comes with its own little built-in straw that pops down and pops back up. And I found that I drank water out of this bottle so quickly, because you do drink faster when you drink out of a straw. So if you're finding that you're having trouble with the actual quantity of water that you're drinking and getting it in time throughout the day, invest in one with a straw, because it's going to make it super easy to just kind of like suck it down. The next tip I have is to drink water before you give in to your cravings. Because oftentimes we misinterpret our body's trigger for water as hunger. So you might think you're hungry, or you might think you're craving a certain food, but you might actually just be thirsty. And my final tip is to keep count, because it does get kind of hard to remember how much water you've been drinking. I had a very old school way of keeping track. I would just take a little tally on my wrist with a pen. If you don't feel like marking on your skin, then you can feel free to like keep track on your phone. There's plenty of apps that you can actually like check off the amount of water that you've had throughout the day. So it's all what works for you. So I hope that this video has served you well. Go out, get your glass of water, drink up, and I look forward to hearing all about the improvements that you see in your life, your energy, your skin, and your world by drinking more water. Interested in one-on-one coaching or group classes? Head on over to michelleshaywalker.com for more info.